All right, for our last example, erase all that. So we're going to go ahead and simplify. There is nothing to simplify to the top because it's just a binomial, so it's going to stay. And then factors of -6 that add to -1 would be -3 and +2. So that would be x minus 3 and x plus 2. Okay, so that's in simplest form. There's our equation. Okay, so no factors canceled out, so we don't have any holes. Vertical asymptote, we have two factors down here that didn't cancel, so we're looking at where that would make that quantity 0. So that would be when x is 3 and when x is -2. So this one's going to have two vertical asymptotes. Horizontal asymptote, so we're going back to the original equation, looking at the degree. The degree of the top is less than the degree of the bottom. So remember that this is when the horizontal asymptote is the x-axis at y equals 0. And then lastly, we're finding x-intercepts. So I'm taking my simplified form here, and I'm going to set it equal to 0. So 0 equals x plus 1 over x minus 3 times the quantity x plus 2. I cross multiply. Hopefully you're seeing a pattern here. The denominator always just becomes 0, and you're setting 0 equal to the top. And so my x-intercept would be -1. So I'm going to go ahead and graph my x-intercept. Okay, so that's there. I don't have any holes to graph. And then I'm going to graph my asymptote. So I have a vertical asymptote at x equals 3. So I'm going to graph that. And then I have one at -2. So go ahead and graph that. And then I have one at y equals 0. And just as a reminder, as you can already see, there's an x-intercept on the horizontal asymptote. So remember what we talked about, that you can cross a horizontal asymptote, and you're going to see that happen in this example. Okay, so here's why I did this one last. So this is the first one we've done where we have two vertical asymptotes. So if you're going to notice, there's 3 sections on the bottom, 3 sections on the top. That means there are 6 sections that I could possibly put a curve in. And the only thing I know is this. So on the other ones, where our curves were going to go is obvious because our x-intercept or our hole gave it away. In this case, that's not going to be true. So we're going to need to do some work with a t-chart. So I'm going to start, and let's figure out, it's either going to go down in this section or up in this section. And I want to figure out where that is. So I'm just going to pick a number. I'm going to pick where x is, I don't know, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -6, let's say. And I'm going to take that -6 and I'm going to plug it in to my equation. And you guys can do this on a calculator. You can do it in your head. So if I put a -6 here, I'm going to have a -5 on top. So I'm going to write that so I don't forget. And then if I have -6 here, I'm going to have -9 times -6 plus 2 is -4. So that's a positive 36. So all I care about is that it's going to be in the negatives. So I'm going to take my curve over here at -6. My curve is either up in the positives or up in the negatives, and I found out that it was in the negatives. So I'm just going to, again, we don't care specifics. It's just follow your asymptotes or approach those asymptotes. So there's one curve. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here. I need to know if it's up or below. And so I'm going to pick a number. I'm going to pick just +5. So let's plug in +5 over here. If I plug in +5, I'm going to have a +6 on top. +5 would be +2 here times, if I plug in a 5, a 7. So that's a 14. So that's a positive number. So I know this curve is up here in the positive. So I'm just going to draw a curve that's approaching those asymptotes there. Okay? And so I have part of it. The last piece that I have is that I'm going to have a curve inside here that's going to cross this horizontal asymptote. And so here's the option. My curve is either going to go like this, cross my x-intercept and go up this way, or it's going to come down here, cross my x-intercept and approach this way. Okay? And so I'm trying to see basically what's happening between my x-intercept and my vertical asymptote. And if the number that's happening between there is negative, I know it's going to go down. If the number that happens between here is positive, I know it's going to approach and go up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in, so between -1 and -2 is -1.5. So I'm trying to figure out what is it doing in between. So we're going to do -1.5. Okay? And again, you can just be using your calculator, but -1.5, so if I go back up here, -1.5 plus 1 would be a -0.5 over -1.5 minus 3 is -4.5 times -1.5 plus 2 would be 0.5. So I know I'm going to have a negative over a negative number, which becomes a positive. So I know my curve has to go in between my x-intercept and my vertical asymptote. It's going up in the positive. So my curve is going to approach this way. And then I just do the opposite. Cross that x-axis and then approach the other way. Okay? And if you want to know where it actually crosses that y-axis, you could plug in a 0 in for your x's. So if I do that, if I plug in a 0 for my x, I get a 1 on top. -3 times 2 is -6. So 1 over -6, 1 -6. So it's like somewhere right here. But again, I don't care about that as long as you know which way your curve is going. And so this is usually the part that people struggle with. So you're going to have to use your T-chart to figure out which way your curve is going to go. But again, you're still always going to approach your asymptotes. Let me know if you have questions.